Come on, girl. Come on. That's a good girl. Hey, hey, that's a good girl. What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? What are all these scents? What are we... Yeah, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. This is Reagan. I am 4 months old, and I'm wild. And I'm the new puppy. New puppy on the block. Hopefully I'll retrieve a duck or two. Alright, so this is the new mutt. I'm going to do some work up here, doing some retriever stuff here in a second, and I thought it'd be a good time to look at these decoys while we're up here. So what I've got here, I've got a couple dozen white rock decoys, some with heads, some without heads. Kind of wanted to do some reviews on these. I've always thought they're a great idea, and I know up north people kill ducks with them all the time, but it's not something you see down here in the south very often. So I thought this would be a cool kind of video just to test and see how, A, what I think about them, the quality of them, and B, can we actually kill some ducks with them? So we'll try them out this season, see if we can kill some ducks with them. But we'll do kind of a review, unboxing, first impression stuff, and then hopefully down the road, when duck season opens, we'll be able to actually get them out and see how they actually, if they'll bring some ducks in. So first thing, we're looking at the headless ones. All right, so first thing, we take the bag out. These rods here are what will actually go down the body of the Windsock, and these are white rock Windsocks. And then you've got these vertical rods here that are going to be what stick in the ground. So we got these little grommets we've got to install on them, on all of them, and they should fold up real small, which is kind of the hope. We can get these really small and not have to pack in a bunch of full body decoys. All right, so we've got the part that's going to go through the sock itself. Put it in there, and it's got instructions here, but they're kind of complicated to read. And then you're going to put one of these grommets in there between the sock and the top of it. It says something about rubber washers on the stake. I don't have rubber washers on the stake. Gosh. But maybe they're built in them now, I don't know. So that will go through there. I think the idea is if you can get this grommet to line up, once you push it through the grommet, it should be pretty well set that way. Alright, so after reading the instructions and testing some stuff, I think I figured this out. It's actually not that complicated. You're going to put this inside the body, inside our duck body. This has a hole in it that the rod will go through, and there's a little slot there for this grommet. It'll hold itself in that slot, so that's good to know. Then you just have to push this through the hole in the bottom of this. So through the hole of the body, through the hole of that piece. Oh, don't push that out. Through the top hole of the body. That's kind of the hard part. Once it's through both holes of the body, it's going to be pushed against this grommet here. I don't know if I can get that. There's a grommet right there in a little slot. Once it gets pushed against that, twist it a little bit and make sure it's lined up. You should see that grommet spin a little bit. Once you get it lined up, keep pressure on it. Just take a hammer or something lightly and just tap this. I don't know where my hammer's at, so I'm using that. Oh, and it's a one-way grommet, so we shouldn't see it come back out once we get it through. Alright, so that one's in good. And what it does is that gives it the ability for the wind to spin at 360. In theory, they do catch a little bit. There's a little bit of friction in that grommet, I guess. But they do spin pretty good, at least 250 or something. I'm worried about them staying open a little bit. I don't know if there's some way to keep this down where it'll catch more wind. But once you get those installed, they're pretty easy. You just pull on this inner rod here. If you pull it out, tilt it down, and that thing packs up nice and smooth. So in theory, they're going to be sweet, they're going to be action, they're going to be moving, they're bigger than a normal decoy, and they're going to be very lightweight. So let's get them built and check them out once they're all built. I've got all 12 of those headless ones built, feeders, whatever you want to call it. Main thing in these little grommets, you want to make sure that the teeth part is pointed up. So when you hammer them in, they will not come back out. So you make sure you get those pointed up and you'll be set. That didn't take long at all, maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to stick them in the ground, see how they look in the ground. I wish there were maybe a little longer option in the stakes. If you're in a flooded rice field, you know, and it's a little deeper, maybe you could get a little more length out of these. But I think they're going to work pretty good. I mean, they fill with air just in this little bit. They don't maybe rotate as good as I hope they would. I'm hoping that improves with time. Just the wearing and getting kind of a groove wore in there. They don't wear quite as good as I'd hoped, or they don't rotate quite as good as I'd hoped. At least some of them don't. And that's probably from that grommet. And I think maybe as that grommet eats into that shaft a little more, maybe we'll see a little bit more of that. Alright, so a little test run there with a leaf blower. Now that's pretty extreme conditions, but they do pivot, they do rotate, they do inflate fine. Obviously, you know, like I said, I wish they were a little more, but I'm hoping the more they get used in or out, maybe that grommet will develop a little ring and be a little smoother on the pivoting. But let's pick it up and let's talk about the best part of these. Alright, so here's a half dozen that we just pulled. Took 5 seconds to pull. You just pull that in, fold that down, and they're ready to be packed up. So you're talking about picking up decoys in a matter of just a few minutes. I like to keep them stacked better, as opposed to taking a ton of time picking them up, tying up anchors. Alright, so here's probably my favorite part. This is a dozen feeder decoys, or headless decoys, whatever you want to call them. That's a dozen. Use a gear tie. Cinch them up. There's a dozen decoys. You can throw in a backpack or a duffel bag or whatever you want, and they're ready to go. So that's my favorite part. They weigh nothing, super lightweight, easy pack up, easy pack out, easy take down. If they'll just kill birds, that'll be the next thing. So let's look at the ones with the flocked heads. These are the ones I'm probably most excited about. Flocked head, a dozen of field sock, white rock decoys. Lightweight, super lightweight. Excited about these. There's the heads. I thought these were flocked. They don't appear to be flocked. They just appear to be normal heads. Alright, let's see if we can figure these out. Basically, the headed ones, the headed decoys, are the same as the headless ones, but you get this head here, and you know, you would put this, grab a green head to be realistic, you put this on here, and you have a screw that goes through into that hole there, and one on the other side as well. So it will be kind of pinched in like that and look like that on the swivel. And I don't guess yeah, it'll swivel with it. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping there was a little more to it than just you have to put a screw in the side of it, but I mean, maybe that works. I don't know. We're gonna find out, I guess. We'll test it out. So I got to build all these first. All right, so we've got these built. It's time to attach these heads. Again, you're gonna get a couple Phillips head screws. I'm using an impact. You definitely don't need to use an impact. That's just what I happen to have on me. Once you get it started, just line up these holes on the ends of this little swivel point that they have. Again, The heads look really good. The painting on these is really pretty good. You know, it seems unnatural to me because I don't hunt over these silhouettes or windsocks. I've never hunted over them, so it seems a little weird to me, but we'll let the ducks be the final judge of it all. All right, that was time consuming, but we got all dozen of them with heads on them. Let's go see how they look in the ground. Alright, so let's see how they pack up. The heads on them will be a little bit more of an issue, I'm sure. Alright, so 2 dozen decoys, so lightweight, you can hold them up with one hand. That part's incredible. The body size is great. The heads on these decoys look really good. I'm a little concerned about they're really thin, rubbery, plasticky, whatever. So I'm a little worried how they're going to hold up. Like, are they going to get ripped, the screw get ripped out of them? But they look good. They fold up good. You can take one gear tie and just tie it around them. I'm excited to see if they're going to be able to trick some ducks. I hope they do, because I'd love to, especially on some rice fields and stuff like that. I think these would be a really great way to bring some ducks in. So they didn't pivot quite as much as I wanted them to on the stake, but maybe on a really windy day we'll see more of it. But it was probably good enough to give you action amongst 2 dozen of them. I think it'll look pretty good in some shallow areas, rice fields, the dry banks on our beaver ponds. I'm excited to try them out. These white rock decoys, I think they're going to be pretty cool. If you hadn't already checked them out, you probably should. I'd like to try some tangle free ones just to see how they compare. There was one other company, I can't remember off the top of my head, that I was interested in as well. So just some things to think about, try out. Let me know if you've ever killed any ducks over these, over Windsock duck decoys. I never have. This will be a very first one I ever kill if they work. So we're definitely going to try them out. So stick around, like, subscribe, see if they work, see if we're able to kill ducks on them. We're on our way to 5,000 subscribers. When we hit that, we're giving some cool gifts away. So you definitely want to be here to see when that announcement comes out, what we're giving away and how we're doing it. So appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, stick around. Thank you for watching.